Hey guys, Toby here from Hadler Fitness. Alright, so today's topic's going to be shoulders explained. Alright, so with the shoulders, you've got your deltoid muscles, and then you've got your attaching muscles to your trapezius, your deltoids, and then your traps, and then some that come over connect to your triceps, your biceps, and even your chest. Okay, so when you think about all this, there's a lot more that goes into your shoulders than what you think there is besides just shoulder press. The best exercise I can tell you to grow your shoulders, to grow big, meaty shoulders, is the shoulder press. Whether that be barbell or with dumbbells, so like that, or handstand push-ups equivalent, okay? So pressing exercises above your head. So this is going to stimulate that anterior, lateral, and posterior deltoid, which is going to give you that real rounded 3D effect. I'm not lean enough at the moment to show the difference between the different heads, but you can see my anterior delt there. Lateral delt comes down here, and then your rear delt's back here. All right, so just think of that front, side, back, and that's pretty much your 3 deltoid heads. And the way you have to hit these on 3 different planes. So front, side, and then pulling for the back, or you can bend over and do raises and change the way you hold a specific weight. And then as long as you can feel the mind to muscle connection in that back area, then you should be working it. All right, so generically these are stabilizer muscles, so they're pretty much there to stabilize the shoulder and for obviously strength and all that kind of stuff. But with the anatomy, when you go into what makes up the actual muscle, it's more so majority slow twitch muscle fibers, so they take a long time to exhaust, so higher rep ranges, so lighter weights, higher rep ranges to stimulate muscle growth in that. So generally if you're trying to do lateral raises, everyone knows what a lateral raise is, so you generally got like your sides and then your front. People, like if you try to do it like 15 or 20 kilos, you just end up like throwing the weight up. You're not doing it properly. So you probably want to drop back to it like anywhere from 5 to 10 kilos and hit that for 3 to 4 sets, anywhere from 12 to 30 reps. And then you can do some heavy work, but your heavy work, they get stimulated enough, especially the anterior deltoid, that gets smashed when you do bench press. So you'll see a lot of people will be really built up in the anterior, mildly built up in the lateral head, and the posterior deltoid will just be non-existent. So you want to be doing some face pulls, some rack pulls, and maybe if you're more advanced, handstand push-ups. But you don't have to do handstand push-ups. Like there's heaps of other exercises you can do. But just remember, you want to stimulate growth over each part of your shoulder, so the front, back, and side. So this will give you a really well-rounded shoulder, and it'll give you good posture. It'll help your shoulders sit back, and it makes you, when you have big shoulders, it makes your chest look a little bit bigger as well. So given that, let's get into this video. All right, so we'll start off with the anterior deltoid muscle, which is this muscle group here. So the anterior deltoid, basically, it gets so much love because every bro out there is all about pushing. So bench press, push-ups, shoulder press. So basically any forward motion that involves this is going to stimulate that anterior head. So that front deltoid muscle gets lots of love. So I wouldn't really get too worried about that. Here's an exercise which will stimulate some growth. But along with this, you can do bench press as well. So a wider grip bench press shoulder, or in more of an inner grip. So inner, outer on the Olympic bar, or you can do free weights where you can articulate your hands down. So you can press like that, or you can press normally, or you can do an under press. And you can even see that when I press like that, even like this, this deltoid head is engaging. So my front deltoid head. The anterior deltoid head is engaging just by flexing like that. So you can imagine what it's like when you've got 60 or 100 or 150 kilos on bench press when you start like that. So that muscle gets lots of love. What I'm more so worried about in this video is educating you guys to more so do the work, do the extra little bit of work. So 2 to 3 times a week you want to be doing lateral raises. I generally do them both. I do them at the end of my sessions as accessory exercise. I don't warm. See, I might warm them up sometimes, depends how they're feeling. But I do them at the end because I don't want to pre-fatigue my big lifts. I don't want to be doing lateral raises, like front lateral raises before I do bench press. It's just not going to work. It will hinder my actual amount of volume I'll be able to carry out. And you always do the hardest exercise first and you work out and you work your way backwards to the easiest exercise. Makes sense? When you're most energized is when you do the hardest lift first, the hardest amount of muscle. So the most muscle recruitment and the hardest exercise, generally compound exercise, should be done first. All right, so following this, we have the lateral deltoid. All right, so the lateral deltoid is this one here, pretty much. So lateral side, this one that comes straight down here. So there's a little bit of play with insertions and connection between the bicep, the scapula, and the tricep muscles. So obviously we don't need to get right into anatomy. So like what you're here for this video is just basically what exercise I need to do. So the exercise you want to be doing for this will be the lateral raises as seen here. All right, so with the lateral raises, same thing, 12 to like 30 reps. You can go a little bit heavier, but just make sure you're going, like I'm gonna say this, make sure you go until fail. Obviously it's the last exercise you're gonna be doing, or you might be doing a superset with some bicep curls or tricep extension or push downs or something like that. It's generally how I'd finish up my session. So I might do my upper body work. It might be like bench, shoulder press, some sort of pulling movement, whether it be dumbbell rows or cable rows, and then I'll finish off some bicep curls, tricep push downs, and some lateral raises. So there's 2 different forms of this. You can change your hand grips just to make sure you're targeting that, because you'll find when you do stand upright and you do lateral raises, whether you have a straight arm or a bent arm, so whether you're going like this or you're going like this, regardless, you just want to have that mind to muscle connection. Make sure you're stimulating this muscle. You want to make sure you're getting good mind to muscle connection. You're taking it to failure outside of comfort zone. So you do this 2 to 3 times a week. And then once you progress on a certain amount of weight, you want to progress upwards. So you want to apply progressive overload just so you get a little bit more volume in. And then that extra volume over weeks and months is going to become more muscle, because more muscle is a byproduct of volume based at a certain intensity. If you go until failure, it's a good indicator, especially for accessory workouts, that you are doing a good job, okay? Do what you can on the day. Just make sure you're always trying to push yourself a little bit further and become better. And then therefore the byproduct of that's going to be a badass body and some really, really well-rounded shoulders. So the one that doesn't get much love and gets missed out a lot is the posterior deltoid head. So the rear deltoid head, obviously you can't see, it's not a mirror muscle, hence why it doesn't get much love. That's why people won't work it out. So you can do as seen here. I need to get you alone. So with the posterior deltoid head, so you can do the seated ones as seen here. So I'm really bent over, raising, making sure I've got a solid, good mind to muscle connection, and I change the angle at which I'll lift the weight to make sure it's targeting my rear delt. So you can do that. Or you can do lying down face pulls, or you can do standing face pulls. Lying down face pulls is also very good. Generally, if you're doing mix it up, so one day you might do face pulls and the following you might do lateral pulls as well. So lateral pulls. So one day you'll do face pulls, and then another day you'll do bent over flies. So make sure you're just targeting that. You can do, personally, I like to do it with bent arms, but some people like to do it straight. I know I find it irritates my my bicep and my tricep muscle, and I tend to take a lot of the weight in those muscles, and it doesn't stimulate that. That's why I like to have bent off arms. So I like to have a 90-degree angle, or at least a 75-degree angle on my arms, flying the weight upwards. And also with this, you can do, so you want to be doing the isokinetic and isometric exercise as well. So you want to be making sure you're holding the weight. So do as many exercises as you can. So do it as many times as you can, as many reps, and then on the last one, hold it as seen here. I'm holding it for as long as I can, and then finish up. That will take a complete failure. So you've got that mind to muscle connection, and you've got that muscle engagement on the eccentric movement. You're fighting against gravity, and then just holding that weight there is going to help stimulate some growth, because your muscles obviously adapt to time under tension, and that's a lot of time under tension. So make sure, so up quick, down slow, up quick, down slow. Make sure when you're going up quick, you're not throwing it up, you're doing it correctly, nice and controlled, and make sure you're stimulating those deltoid muscles. I could flap on about this all day. It is so important for shoulder stability and having a well-rounded physique that you know how to work out your deltoid muscles and the difference between that front, side, and back deltoid heads. So obviously the biggest takeaway from this video, make sure you're training your posterior deltoids, because it will help improve your lifts as well. It will help improve your bench press, your shoulder press, and your pull-ups as well, because obviously it is quite a big muscle and it has a big play in your shoulder stability and your actual shoulder and back strength, because obviously those muscles attached to the shoulder, and then they insert obviously in the trapezius and the ribs and all that kind of good stuff. So it's all connected. You want to be given each muscle the same amount of love as the other, okay? You don't just want to be a bro that just works out his chest and doesn't do his legs. You're not going to have a well-rounded physique. You're just going to end up with muscle imbalances, and it's not good. You don't want to be that guy. All right, guys, I hope you liked the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy.